Good evening and welcome to the September 21st meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. And welcome. Sorry for the few-minute late start here. We've had a couple of executive sessions earlier tonight for interviewing folks. So anyway, got a pretty busy schedule, so we'll get right into it. There are no public hearings this evening. Any announcements from the board?
No.
Okay. Additions or deletions to the agenda. If Eden Spencer shows up, are we going to have to vote on that this evening?
I think he's looking for a vote as soon as possible.
Okay, so do we have in here?
No.
Okay.
Because I didn't know.
All right, so I would request that we add under old business item D, to vote on the Regional Solar Coalition. That's the one that we kind of pushed off from last week. And Spencer Eden is supposed to be here from Encore Renewable Energy to answer any questions that we have. So if I could get that as a motion, I would appreciate it.
So moved.
So been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
So all those in favor? Opposed? So we'll add 10D, discuss vote to enter into the Regional Solar Coalition.
Okay.
Or collaboration, or whatever the official name is here. Okay.
Excuse me, that'd be 10D. D is in David, right?
Right, yeah. Appointments. Mr. Gilpatrick, you're up first.
How you doing? As I understand, I missed my update the last week both regarding failed septic. Excuse me. Tongue-tied there. I get solar on the brain. Yes, we are actually nearing the end of one of the projects. The one on Strawberry Road 202. That's coming along nicely. We did an inspection. I got a little more work to do. While we were talking about solar, I figured that might be an interesting segue on that.
Okay.
I have received the design and 3 bids for construction for the failed system. I want to present that to the board if you guys want to pass this around. That's the design. These are 3 estimates in which we've received from local contractors.
Oh, no way.
One of them makes me a little leery personally, but that's your decision. It's based on the numbers. And I have an invoice here for the septic design.
Okay. Okay. That's from
Albert Frick Association. Mr. Gardner is in Scotland, I believe.
Oh, okay. The young Mr. Gardner, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Ken's son, or
Yes.
I think his name is Ken.
Yes, it is.
Kenny
I think everybody would. I think it was a family trip, to be honest with you. And another announcement while you're looking through that. We're holding on October 14th a shoreline certification class here. We have a $35 per attendee fee.
Great.
John McLean from the Maine DPP is going to come down and teach that class for us. We're hosting that. Once again, it's October 14th. It's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. They've made multiple changes to this program for the shoreline certification. This is for excavating contractors and anybody that works in the shoreline zone. I strongly encourage you to attend. The certification class now is good for 5 years. where in the past it was a 4-hour class and good for 2 years. They decided that they would make it a full day, 8-hour class, and your certification will be valid for 5 years. Shoreline certification, part of that is the class, and then of course you have the second part to obtain certification, where you must install and work with a veteran shoreline contractor to install your sediment erosion control fencing and take the best management practices into consideration and have some experience. You work on a couple of jobs, send photos back to DEP, and they'll issue your certification.
Dana Mo's.
That's all I have. I'm not sure if you folks are in. I know that's awful quick to throw that in front of you if you want to take some time to digest it, but
It just looks like a lot of money,
which way?
that system.
The whole thing. It is a lot of money. Unfortunately, that's a big burden that some of the homeowners are facing nowadays, is that to replace a septic system is really pretty pricey. Oftentimes it's somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000, depending on the type of design and what soils you have.
The last one I put in was less than 3.
Right. You might be due. I'd be careful.
Well, no, but I mean, I used to
Yeah.
put a lot of them replacement beds in.
Sure. Yeah. Well, as they say, you know, that's the only thing we're not making more of is sand, gravel, rocks.
Okay,
We've got 2 of almost the same price.
yeah, I would suggest that between you and Matt, make a call, and
Okay.
you don't need the board to
Okay.
approve it. It's got to be done, you know.
Perfect.
We're gonna,
Thank you, sir.
thanks, we're gonna sign the
permit.
lien paper,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna put a lien on the property.
Sure. I'm gonna make a couple marks on this permit because they need an agent. I think the chairman would be the best one, or would you rather just wait to have
You know,
Matt take care of it?
Matt can take care of
Okay,
it.
perfect. Thank you.
yeah, anything that Matt can sign that I don't have to sign.
Okay.
Can I add something, Dennis?
Yep.
Mike, I'm hearing really, really good things around town, by the way,
Oh.
about the job you're doing, and from the contractors to homeowners. So thank you. It's
Excellent.
appreciated. I know you're busy.
Thank
And I know
you.
it's a lot of work for one person, and maybe a little bit more than one person.
Yeah. Makes the day go by fast. Thanks, man.
Do we have that computer program online yet?
No, not yet. We're about 2, maybe 3 weeks from implementing. We had some issues with our parcel data that we downloaded.
Okay.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We're 2 or 3 weeks away from going live with that portion. We're working with CAI to get our parcel data straightened out so that it will actually, what has happened is it kind of messed some of the lot numbers up. So we had to go through and proofread and figure out what went wrong, and then now they're going to extract the data and then reinstall it now that we figured out what the problem is. And we're real close, and we actually we hit a pretty good milestone there. I've had some leverage with the company iWorks because I've installed it a couple different municipalities now. I actually I encouraged them to develop a different process for the Maine State plumbing application. So now plumbers will also be able to go online, have the Maine State application. It prints out, looks like the Maine State application. And that was a big hole that we were missing. So you'll basically be able to file an entire new building package online.
Nice. Great. Thanks.
Okay?
You don't like seeing people?
Take that.
The request on 23 Deerfield Drive, you know, we'll get a legal opinion, but if the gentleman wants to come in and meet with the board, then that's fine. I think you gave us the document. Okay.
Yep.
I'm
Excellent.
not sure.
I'll be in touch to follow up with that as well. Through that. Okay.
The zoning ordinance is very specific when it comes to fines.
It certainly is.
All right,
Thank you.
anything else? Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
And you must be Spencer.
Yeah, apologize for being late.
Step right up to the mic there, Spencer. This is Spencer Eden, and he's from Encore Renewable Energy. I'm gonna give us a little bit of if you can give us a quick overview of this regional coalition thing that's been kind of worked by Southern Maine Planning and Development. That would help. We had some questions 2 weeks ago when we attempted to vote on it, and so why don't you give us a quick overview?
Yeah, so, like you mentioned, there was an RFP process put forward by Southern Maine Planning and Development Coalition. Karina Grader over there has been kind of took lead in putting that together, and the idea was to get a collection of towns in southern Maine, as many as possible, I think, to sort of put all of their load in one bucket and have developers such as Encore bid on providing solar to meet all of the municipal loads. So it's not just Waterboro, but it's a whole bunch of towns. And so that's attractive to, that was attractive to Encore because it basically sort of puts a whole bunch of towns in one bucket, and we can kind of work with everybody at once. So the idea is that Encore, I should back up for a second. We're a development company based out of Vermont. I'm based in Maine. I live up in Brunswick. I was caught in the 295 traffic on my way south here. But Encore has primarily developed projects in Vermont, but with the solar legislation that was passed in 2019 has sort of moved into Maine. And so we have a number of projects that we've developed here in Maine, one of which is actually probably going to be reaching construction in the next month or so, and then a handful of others that are still kind of caught in interconnection limbo with CMP. And so our response to the RFP put forward by SMPDC was to provide credits from the solar projects that we're developing to the 6 towns that were part of the RFP process, Waterboro being one of them. So basically the way it would work is the array generates electricity that goes straight out onto CMP's grid. CMP records that, meters it, and then basically it takes that energy that's been pushed out on the grid and turns that into bill credits. And those bill credits can be sent to any ratepayer in Maine. And so the way these projects work is you get a bunch of load ratepayers in Maine, and you pool them together, and you basically say, you tell CMP, okay, we're going to send this % of the total amount of credits generated each month to the town of Waterboro's sewer pump account, so on and so forth. And then in return, those recipients of the bill credits, so Waterboro, for instance, pays the project for that power. Now they're receiving, so you'll receive a bill credit for basically for every kilowatt hour of energy that's generated by the solar array. That's worth about 12 or 13 cents. And the arrangement that our winning bid with SMPDC and the arrangement that we have with the 5 other towns is that we will basically charge the towns a 27.5% discount off of that credit value. So it's 13 cents. You get a 13 cents credit and pay the project 10 cents for it. So it's a way to offset your load with clean electricity. So it's coming from solar, clean electricity, and you guys will also receive the clean attributes associated with that energy. And you also get to save, almost 30% on the electricity costs. So that's a broad overview of net energy billing and the arrangement we have with the 5 other towns. And I can go into more detail, but I'll maybe pause there if you guys have questions.
So when the bill comes through, is this nothing more than, CMP is gonna bill us, continue to bill us, right? Mm-hmm. And in lieu of the standard offering, all right, we're gonna be doing business with Encore, basically, or whatever the...
Yeah, it's so this is a really good point. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm sure I sound like probably some of the competitive electricity providers that were probably marketing their services about 10 years ago when that market sort of opened up. And this is actually fundamentally different. So we are not a competitive electricity provider.
Okay.
So it's not like it only affects one half of the CMP bill, the T&D, and then the supply, and it's not like we're just the supply. The credits, if Waterboro enters into an agreement with Encore, the credits offset the entire bill, so T&D and supply. And so if Waterboro, the other towns have typically, there's some variation, but typically opted to offset about 85% of their load. So that means basically your bill, on average over the course of the year, will be 15% of what it normally is. And so the credits, obviously, a lot more sun in the summertime. The array is going to be generating more energy and therefore more credits during the summertime. Those excess credits that you don't use in the summer, those can be banked and used in the wintertime. So basically we size the credit allocation based on your annual load and not just on sort of a month-by-month basis.
You just said 15% of the regular bill. Now, are you talking that we're gonna save 85%? Or are you talking that the bill is gonna be 15% less than the original bill?
Yeah, it gets confusing. So if you were to offset 100%, which I can talk about the reasons why you might not want to do that, but if you were to offset 100% of your load, then using the same sort of setup that I had just before, you would basically, your bill will go to zero. So you'd pay $0 to CMP, and that's for T&D and supply. Now instead, you'd be paying the solar array for those credits, but at 27.5% less than what you would be paying CMP. So if your annual bill is $1,000 to CMP over the course of all your accounts, and you were to offset 100% of your credits, then your bill to the solar array would be $725. And so you'd realize those $275 in savings. Now it gets a little bit confusing here when the 85% where that 85% comes in. But essentially, in order to allow for natural variation in solar production and natural variation in your load, we'd probably want to size the allocation that goes out to Waterboro, to all the accounts of Waterboro, to about 85% of the annual total. That way you don't purchase more credits than you can use. So in that case, your average annual bill will be 15 to CMP, will be 15% of what it normally is. So instead of $1,000, you're paying CMP $150.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we save 85%.
That's right.
It just means
I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. There's no free lunch. no deal that's that good at
So
least.
how does one begin to audit that? In other words, if we were to say, hey, did we get the deal that we signed up for? All right, we're gonna have the ins and outs. Is it predicated on load? Is it, you just talked about summer load, summer generation is the highest, or is it peak in the summer from the solar units?
Yep.
We might not be at peak in the summer. We might peak in the winter or some other period of time, right? So how does that? Do I have to have an MBA to calculate?
Yeah, it does get
really
confusing.
save money.
Yeah, it does get confusing, and I'll just say that this is the incentive program that the state has set up for solar and to save customers money. But with all the different parties involved, I will be the first to say that it does get confusing keeping track of what's the discount of what and who's paying who and all that sort of thing. But it will be actually pretty straightforward to audit. So on your CMP bill, it'll show how many kilowatt hours you used. But then it'll also show the amount of credits that were sent from the project to that account for that month. And it's those credits that you're paying the project for. So you'll be able to see, okay, our account was credited 100 kilowatt hours worth of credits, and we're getting a bill from the solar array for 100 kilowatt hours worth of credits for that account. Now, I think that obviously the town of Waterboro will have probably, it looks like something around like 15 to 20 accounts total. So you'd have to basically add up the number of credits that are allocated to each account across all accounts. So for a given month, you're going to get 100 credits for the town office, 100 kilowatt hours worth of credits for the town office, 150 for another facility, and so on and so forth. And then you'll basically get just one bill from the solar array for all the credits that were sent to all the different meters, all the different accounts. So there is a direct comparison there because you're paying for the energy that is credited to your CMP bill, not for anything else, but it's just what's credited to your CMP bill. And the CMP bill will show what's been credited. You will be able to sort of, cross-reference those two values.
Okay. So that's why when you talk about 85% of the load, that's why, what's the name, kept the street lights out of the formula.
Yeah, so I believe Karina brought the amount to offset of the streetlights account down to about 30%, with the expectation that if the town upgrades to LEDs, all of a sudden that account is going to be spending a lot less money on electricity.
So that was her rationale for reducing that would be the savings in electrical consumption if we went to LEDs.
That's right. So you're protecting yourself against that, because I will say that should you enter into an agreement here, it is your obligation as the buyer to purchase the credits that are sent to the town from the solar array, whether or not you can use them. And so for that's the reason why it's not like you can sort of scale that up or down in the future.
So the commitment is to buy X amount of credits from the solar, right?
Absolutely.
Whether we use 100% of it or whether we use 50% of it.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep. And working through the details with other towns in the collaborative, they've identified buildings that are going to get LED retrofits or other things like that that make it so they want to only offset 70% instead of 85% of that building's electricity usage, and that might be something that Waterboro wants to consider. it's obviously you got to calculate that risk of how likely it is that you drop below, because obviously the less electricity you purchase, the less savings you'll realize. But I'm happy to work with the town through the different accounts and come up with some estimates. Again, typically 85% is where we usually recommend you'd size the allocation to.
So you mentioned before that certain solar farms were either under construction, or is there anything within the boundaries of Maine that you folks are involved in is going to come online anytime soon?
Yeah, so all the projects that we're developing that would be used to generate credits for the town, those all have to be in CMP territory. So actually just last week we received final approval from the town of Wilton for a 4 megawatt project up in East Wilton. That project will probably start construction. It'll probably close sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks and start construction in November. Depending on how bad the winter is, I think that realistically we would expect that project to be operational and generating credits in May or June. We have another project. So the agreement we have with the 5 other towns, and which we put before you all, is for credits from that Pleasant Street project in Wilton. So basically all of the credits generated from that Pleasant Street project in Wilton are going to be sent to the collaborative. And that covers most of the needs for those 6 towns. We have another project that we're hoping receives final interconnection approval from CMP sometime in November or December. And so that project would probably come online maybe later in the summer of 2022. And about 50% of the total credits from that project, it's a little bit smaller, will be sent to the 6 towns. I will say, happy to sort of work with the select board here on whatever timeline suits you. I will say that because we are looking to close on our project in Wilton sometime in the next 4 weeks, we'll need to have the commitments of where we're sending those credits finalized. And so I think that if it takes more than probably 3 weeks to sort of work through and get the net energy billing credit agreement signed, what we might do is we might put all of the load from Waterboro onto the Alpine Street project and sort of shift other load around so that more of the load from the 5 other towns is being met by the Pleasant Street project, which will be the first to.
And they're both under 5 meg?
Yes, they're both under 5 megawatts.
So the town of Wilton's going to get 0 tax money, other than, because we have 3 approved solar arrays here.
Yeah.
NBD Solar has 2, and HEP Maine or Waterboro or whatever has 1. But so we know the tax implication, or the governor's responsibility for the tax commitment. I would suggest call your legislator and ask them to put a capacity tax on that. Questions? If not, we'll certainly thank you for coming. I think you clarified some of the stuff that we've had for questions and whatnot. We're going to address this later this evening to see whether we're going to move forward with it or delay, our vote or whatever the case may be. But we'll deal with it later in the agenda. So, but we appreciate you coming.
Great.
I think you like I said, you clarified in my mind some of the stuff, some of the issues, and which now makes sense of what Southern Maine Planning was giving us for a presentation. So, all right.
Yeah, if I might just say one more thing,
Yep.
I think I'd really love to see Waterboro get on board with this project, and I think that there probably will be other opportunities if to participate in solar projects in the future. Basically, because of chaos with CMP, there's a lot of projects in limbo right now. But I'll also say that, just to be frank, I doubt that probably a discount that's this large will be something that Waterboro could get otherwise. I mean, I'll say, personally that, we submitted our bid to the SMPDC back before commodities and with different projects in mind. So I think that it's a great opportunity for Waterboro to save money and perhaps make up for the fact that you're not receiving tax revenue from your own solar projects. So thank you all very much.
Good enough. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
All right. Well, let's move on. Any public comment this evening? Sensing nobody rushing to the podium. You have correspondence, treasurer's reports, a motor vehicle report, contract deputy report. Congresswoman Chellie Pingrie has sent in some communication, as well as local Senator David Woodsome. So if anybody's interested in reviewing that information, you certainly can find it on the website, or you can make a contact to Laura to find out that information. So,
Where are those reports? Do they attach those to the senator? And,
right.
okay.
Selectmen's reports. Mike?
No, nothing right now.
Dana?
Nothing else right now.
Dwayne?
The town dump has been mowed and hayed,
Okay.
and we have two very large holes down back. And it's where I had a guy mow it for me, but it's where the bamboo is growing. I did not dare to send him down into those holes because I don't know how deep they are. They've grown in the last 2 years, 3 years, but this year is definitely something needs to be done to get rid of the bamboo and get them holes filled in order to, because I'm afraid somebody's going to get hurt down there. Yeah. It's right on the back side. It's right next to where it's been mowed, and you'll see two groups of bamboo, and I don't know why, but the bamboo's growing where it's caving. There is some livestock down there. Showed up, but it's where probably didn't get compacted quite as well as the rest of the reclaim area. But it's been going on for 2 years, 3 years, and we filled it in once or twice before, but it needs some attention.
Okay. Anything else, Dwayne?
No, I don't think so.
I did go to the Eco Maine meeting the other day. They presented the year-end numbers. In fact, we actually had the audit has been completed, the financial audit. We were up 309 ton in household waste last year, and we're up 255 ton, almost double what we had for bulky waste. So, needless to say, we were up significant, but our recycling was flat. So, interesting to look at those numbers when And certainly I can send a report out to anybody that wants to look at it, but, you know, the total, all the owners, of the 20 owners at Eco Maine had, you know, 51,000 tons of household waste that was brought in 2020. 2021 went to 53,008. So it was up about 3,000 ton from in the owner communities. That's not the total number, but
I did have one other thing, Dennis.
yep.
Down to the dump the other night, and one of the attendants feeding dog bones to the dogs that are coming in the vehicles, and I would really like to see that shut off. One, he's gonna get run over. Two, you don't know if the dog's supposed to eat the bone or not. And three, he's gonna get bit if he gets the wrong dog. So, 2 or 3 concerns on being a nice guy and wanna feed the local dogs
Feed the
bones.
animals.
Yes.
All right.
I think it's a liability for the town.
Okay. The only other thing is that we will vote next month to raise the household waste tipping fee by $3.
What are you thinking?
So it'll go to $79.50. I expressed my concern with, we're gonna keep the $35 a ton recycling of single sort. Unfortunately, fortunately, the markets have come back fairly significantly, but there's also a $10 million renovation required to upgrade the single sort facility, so that's coming in the next 3-4 years. So they kind of couched that you know, we need we will keep the tonnage rate in there until such time as we build up the I guess reserve, if you will, to see what happens there. But anyway, so I'm certainly open to any comments or conversation relative to, it's about a 3% hit, and the 5-year plan is to continue to go up 3% per year. We're still significantly below what we paid for the first 23 years of being a member.
So there's a market for our trash?
You know, the market is that, you know, it's all, you know, the trash is getting converted to electric energy, so. And an interesting thing is that it looks like the revenue potential for selling electricity is gonna jump because of the lack of natural gas to fire boilers. So,
The recycling, you say, there's a slight market for it?
Yeah.
Is that going to go back to separating the cardboard from the...
No, they continue to do that.
Yeah.
But the problem with because the system is, what, almost 20 years old?
Yeah.
That separates, you know, plastics and, you know, cardboards and
At
everything
one
else.
time, we was bailing the cardboard,
Right.
and that was going to
Well,
China,
they
I think, overseas.
They still have a market, and what's happening with China is they're still not taking the contaminated material, but if anybody knows what's happening in the state, China has bought a handful of old paper mills. So they're Nine Dragons, I think, is the biggest corporation. So they're taking recyclable paper that we're giving them, or selling them.
Yeah.
They're turning that into, I guess, sludge or whatever they call it, liquid. And then that's what's being shipped to China. So, anyway, so that's all I have. Matt?
Couple things. We've recently completed the ARPA funding request through the money that was allocated through the American Rescue Plan. We'll have about approximately $400 and change thousand for the next 2 years deposited. There are some special criteria for these funds. Some of that is COVID communications and impacts, broadband and water, and also essential employee compensation. Rather limited scope. We need to work through some logistics on that, but there is some information out on the web for it as well, but more to come. But we have been accepted for it, and it's in the process.
What are the categories again, Matt?
Essential employee compensation, COVID, and I'm summarizing, but COVID communications and impacts, broadband and water.
Anything in there on law enforcement?
Essential pay for.
Could come under that, possibly.
So I think that we just need to look at what the criteria is and what fits the bill for that. We've spent some time organizing some workspaces. Staff over here is done. We relocated Georgia to the office behind the service counters. I think I sent an email to you folks as well. The deputy clerk, Marina Greddy, and I had a conversation about doing a digital bi-weekly newsletter. I think this is a big help and might be something we should use and capitalize on. She's also going to help with our social media and contribute additionally information to that frequently. The more hits we can get and interaction, hopefully we'll have more followers, get information out to the public. The digital newsletter, I think we've got some good ideas. Dennis, I think your idea was great. I talked to her about that the other day. She had already reached out to Shirley last week to get some clarification, so she was already on top of that. But let's see how it goes and see if we can get some information fed into it and develop it.
I think one of the things that I suggested that maybe we put out, that there's been a fair amount of chit-chat back and forth relative to this most recent tax increase. What people kind of don't realize is that for the last 4 years, the tax rate has been flat, or the amount of money that people are paying for taxes has been pretty flat. And I'm talking a handful of dollars difference, right, over a 4-year span. So this year it jumped, and needless to say, no one's happy with any tax increase, but and certainly not the board. But it's something that I think is worthy of educating some of the folks with.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out, see if we can get a good following.
Yep.
Since I think the gentleman earlier mentioned to us that we don't have a newspaper, we don't. So also, moving on, Dave Lowe will be updating some security and cameras at Town Hall, replacing some cameras and installing new cameras. Pete Smith and I had a couple conversations with him, and he's going to be adjusting the schedule to allow for better cleaning here, to some of the stuff that can't be done during the day when there's a lot of people and foot traffic. So we need to improve on that because we can't stand the vacuum running with customers in the lobby and washing the floor. He'll continue with his returnables from the transfer station for heating assistance, and also working at the library as well, doing the cleaning there. We continue to deal with a list of other issues. However, it does seem that communications are still a problem. Town planner. We've received another application. I think I've sent it to the chair already. I can send it to the rest of the group that was on the last interview panel, see what the thoughts are. He's interested in proposing a part-time arrangement with us. He has experience as a town planner for a couple different communities in Maine and for quite a few years, and also outside of the state as well. And he's still working for another town in Maine. So if you could take a look at that and let me know your thoughts. Public Works, Pete had posted the loader backhoe bids on August 30th. They closed September 13th. Received one bid from Milton Cat. Pete's currently working on the financing information to submit with Cat Financial.
Is Cat Financial better than what we can do in a local bank?
2.99 right
I was gonna reach out to the same people we've used before.
Yeah.
See what the price was, but that seemed fairly well in line with what we've seen before from, I think it's Gorham through Rick Proctor, correct?
Right.
We've used, and
We've just recently used Gorham. Most of our big projects have been through Biddeford.
well, we've used Gorham for the ambulance, the engines, and
Yes, but I meant that's nothing that's not the active ones, just one recently.
right.
Because the other bank does not lease, it's.
Yeah, Gorham does municipal leases, right?
Yes.
Correct. But the other one was through the bonds, correct? Because they don't do any lease purchase programs.
No.
And it has to be a bond. So I think the question would be is whether we can use that because of the language of the voting, correct? Because it wasn't a bond vote.
I guess I'd have to revisit that, but,
Anyhow, so,
yep.
and
Lease bond, I guess, is,
we are scheduled for the delivery of the ladder next Tuesday, finally at this point.
ooh, baby.
So we should see it next Tuesday. And that's all I've
It took
got,
about 18 months, huh?
right? Yeah, that's all I've got right now.
Okay, any questions, comments? If not, let's get into the new business. Discuss a vote on a school board member to serve until 6/30/2022. We did a number of interviews this evening, so what's your pleasure there, folks?
I would make a motion that we accept Adam Tangway as a new school board member.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? 3-1. Carries? Okay, so Adam will be, make sure we reach out to him, see if he can get sworn in tomorrow and he can go to tomorrow night's meeting. Discuss the vote on new member for Parks Committee.
I'll make a motion that we accept Evan Holmes as a new Parks Committee member.
Okay?
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Discuss vote to hire a part-time person to assist the deputy treasurer in lieu of accounting firm. This kind of, Matt and I have talked about this, and let me just give you a little background. We have a contract with R.H.R. Smith to provide some accounting activities based on our most recent management letter that came from R.H.R. Smith, and Ron I think discussed it here when he presented back in March, I think it was. Anyway, and it really had to deal with timely bank reconciliations and general ledger reconciliations, and the problem is that the price that's in that contract is fairly significant. It's like $125 an hour, and I think that we would be better served if we actually looked at potentially recruiting someone for much less money, and it might provide us more time. So just really wanted to talk what your thoughts are on that.
What are the services that RHR provides?
Well, they're an audit firm, but they also provide, this side contract is for accounting efforts or accounting work.
And we did have a contract agreement with them too for that, and which we will soon, we've used up most of those, that time allotted that they originally thought of. And so they have to renegotiate again. And based on this, it was at $125 per hour. They were originally thinking 16 hours per month, and they want to keep revisiting it as we hit each $2,000 threshold. So he wants to revisit that. And that was What's that?
Revisit it?
Well, because that was for $2,000, so he wants to revisit this, and it was supposed to terminate on June 30th. So,
2021?
yes. Yeah. So, originally, the objective of the service to be performed were accounting services and training. So, do you want to extend this, or what's your wishes then?
May I speak?
Sure.
There has been no training from day one. The tax collector has not had any training that was supposed to happen originally because it wasn't balanced. Nothing has been as far as training with me. The only thing that she came in was the young lady that worked with us for 3 dimes came in and got our taxes to balance, has been working on the checkbook, the general checking account, because there was a problem with Trio, and I brought it to their attention, I brought it to Gary's attention, I brought it to Trio's attention, and everybody at Ron Smith. I still have all the documentation, and nobody seemed to really care. And so I could not balance the checkbook. To this date, I was told they're only as far as November, and here we are almost to November again. And I have asked them to give me the checkbook back to let me do it, but I was told I cannot make any journal entries, and without any journal entries, I can't start with a balancing figure. If I had a balanced figure, it would not take that long to balance that one checkbook. The other 3 checkbooks are current and have been balanced, and have been right from day one. But it was due to Trio that we got behind.
So,
What were the Trio issues?
When they changed to Sequel, and Sequel still has a problem. I was speaking to another town up in Swanville. Sequel will do stuff to their taxes that they have no idea why it's doing it. And they are still continually working on it. I had a problem, and thanks to the meeting that's coming up next week, I'm going to sit down one-on-one with them and ask them why. Christine has given me a list of stuff to ask, and I hope to see the salesperson there myself.
okay.
Is this the benefit savings bank
So
account?
let's,
Yes, sorry.
we keep kicking this ball down the road. I think it's time that we, and I'm certainly willing to meet with Ron's staff, and I'm sure that Matt can be involved in that. But we need everybody in one room so that we stop pointing at everybody, because we either need to do the timely bank reconciliations, and if there's a system problem, we need to deal with that. So I'm more than frustrated with, we're now in September, and I guess we're no closer to getting the accountant in here to do the audit than we were on August 1st.
They will be here tomorrow and part of the day Thursday.
Okay.
Who?
I don't know what they're doing, Dana. I do not fully know. All I've been told that they will be here. I set up the date per Matt's request, and they will be here tomorrow morning. I don't know if I'm getting back the checkbook or if they're starting on the audit for the next year, and I don't see how you can do the audit because you haven't got your first one.
I thought it was Brittany that's coming to do reconciliation tomorrow, correct?
I'm not 100% sure, Matt.
Okay.
All right.
She has not reached back out to me like
So-
she was supposed to.
So,
Is this the, is this the firm that we allotted another $15,000 to
Yes.
try to get the work done?
Yeah.
Oh, this is unacceptable. I mean, this is people's money.
Waste. They've been that long?
well, the frustration here is that, we're not ready, they're not ready. There's a systemic problem with Trio, and I'm to the point where we're gonna get everybody in a room.
Can we all be there?
I don't care if we're all there or not. If it's more than two of us there, then we need
Post it.
to post it, but I certainly have the time, and I guess I'm as frustrated as anybody with where do we stand with this stuff? And if it's on us, then we need to deal with that. If it's on them, then we need to have a discussion with Ron and his folks. If it's on Trio, then we need Trio in the room. Because this just keeps going, and this is not a one-year deal. Goes back 3-4 years. And where we don't have bank reconciliations done, or general ledger reconciliations done, and we cannot continue to operate like this.
Yeah, you have no idea what you got.
So, you know, they completed the audit for 2020.
How'd they do that
Right.
with the bank checkbook?
No, that supposedly is not the issue. It's 2021, right? We're now in 2021.
Right.
Or we're actually getting ready to, it should have closed out 2021 and they should have audited 2021,
Right.
right? Because we're in 2022. So we need to fix this once and for all. So,
Do we have to use this Trio system? It sounds like another
Yes.
disaster.
no, it's not a disaster, okay? We've been using it for years.
Long mile.
All right? We have all of our assessing data on there. We have all of our financial data on there. It's not like we can just flip the switch and go to somebody else tomorrow, all right? These guys handle multiple towns and cities within the,
Multiple states.
right, and states. So it's Harris software. So one way or the other, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. And I will
Thank you.
work with Matt, and we'll drive this thing to home, right? So I don't care if one of you guys, other guys want to come in, that's fine, but what you're going to find is that it'll be some day or sometime during the day that we meet. So let's find out.
if you're okay with it, I'd like to get the RHR rep and Trio in the same time.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
that we're hammering that out.
So let's, if our HR folks are going to be here tomorrow to talk and deal with the audit, that's fine, okay? But we need to understand what's their role here and what are they doing. I understand, the auditors haven't looked at the books yet, have they?
No.
And we're into September.
Because
Yeah, I would just
David,
like to say, I'd like to be part of that if I could with Trio present, because I have to deal with them directly to make sure there's nothing wrong with our server, with anything like that. And thus far, there hasn't been, so
right.
I would like to be.
So
part of
let's,
that.
Matt, get something, you can do all the footwork and get everybody arranged and whatnot, but one way or the other, you know, we're not, my vote would be not to continue to do or utilize the audit firm for accounting purposes. If we need accounting help, then we should go hire somebody,
And he suggests that based on cost too.
Right.
And he knew, that's,
because we can do it, we can hire somebody part-time, heck of a lot cheaper than $125 an hour. So if you'll take the lead on that
Yep.
and put that together, and then as soon as we know what the meeting is or the time, then we'll make sure that everybody's invited if they want to come.
If I could make a suggestion on with Trio, your head programmer that's been with us, been with the firm since it was Trio, when it first started in this town, went with it, is Brenda Kelly.
what does that do for us?
Should we know that person?
I know that person and she's an honest person.
But it don't mean that
No,
the
but
other ones aren't.
she knows what I've been through, and she was above it. They moved her position, and she has tried honestly to help. And I've got all of the, as I said, I've got all the documentation. I just have to go back and
well,
put it in order.
we can reach out to the other engineers there, that's,
Yep.
there's
Well,
software
that's what I'm
engineers,
getting
yeah.
at,
We'll-
we can just
We'll see what we can do.
I can,
Let's get something squared away. Okay? We'll revisit this if we have to.
well, we kind of got off subject here, but as for hiring somebody part-time, should we start advertising for it?
I think that's the appropriate thing to do. At least put together a job description of what that person would do, and then advertise it to do the financial work. So maybe we can bring that back at the next meeting and have that discussion.
Okay.
And this would be for a certified public accountant, a CPA,
Well,
not just a data entry person.
I'm not sure that, I guess we'll have that discussion of whether they're a CPA, they're gonna be, problem with a CPA is you're gonna be in the same ballpark number,
Probably.
right? All right. 2 public hearings that we need to run. Discuss vote to establish a public hearing for the proposed bulk propane storage. The planning board the other night, and we have the communications that were part of the packet that Lee J provided from the planning board, is that they voted to move forward with and support the bulk propane storage, including propane tank, refill stations, small propane tank swap cages, etc., and that would be added to as a definition in the AR zone as a proposal and whatnot. So that letter that Lee J wrote, that's dated 9/6, has all of the things that have to change. So, but what we need to do is to run a public hearing to add that to the zoning ordinance. So,
How long of a period of time do we have to wait to do the public hearing?
well, we can have it at the next meeting.
That's what I'm asking him, can we do it on the next meeting?
So the next meeting is going to be, we need to flip a page here,
I'll see if I can help you.
October
5th, I think it is.
October 5th.
Yeah.
Tear that one off. Straight. We don't need to know what happened in July.
Okay.
All right. So the 5th would be the next available meeting, so is that your motion, Dana?
Yes, it is, yep.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I will not be here.
Okay. Oh, that's right,
I'm gonna be sitting in a lawn chair.
at the fair. You okay if we run the public hearing?
I don't have a problem with that.
So, all those in favor? Opposed? All right. So the 5th. In addition, we need to discuss a vote to establish a date for the public hearing for the proposed contract zone. And if you recall, this is the David Elves request that Natalie and their lawyers have been back and forth and have come up with a proposed contract zone, and this is for the project that is on Route 2025 and 4 in East Waterboro, the old Leon property, I guess if I want to call it that, right next to where the
Medical center is.
yeah, the medical center. So this is what they're proposing, and the planning board had Al's last 2 meetings, right? One was to explain it, and last time was to have the public hearing. So they've run a public hearing, and they've now pushed this back to us, and we requested that they provide a technical answer to what we were trying to do. So I don't know if you want to do the same night
If we could do the same night, that would
Yep.
be good. Well, going,
The first one is probably gonna be quicker, so. Is that your motion, Dana,
Yes,
to
sir.
do it again on the 5th?
yes, sir.
One would be at 6, and the second one would be immediately following the, okay? I have a second to that,
Second.
okay? All those in favor? Opposed? All right. That finalizes new business, old business. We finally have a deed to accept Ledgeview Lane. And I believe there was a motion back in March that Dave Chevette made, and I can't remember who seconded it, but we voted on it, and to accept the road exclusive of the cisterns, okay? So this deed, and it's been reviewed by Natalie, now is the deed that, and it's a quitclaim deed, that excludes the cisterns, okay? So it came from their lawyer, and it gives the whole layout of that road, okay? So this is for the town to accept ownership of the road, and again, we are not accepting the responsibility of the cisterns that's within the road, the road association or whomever, the development. So what is your pleasure there?
Wasn't the cisterns supposed to be taken care of by the
Yep.
association?
Right, so this does
Or
not
wasn't it weren't?
excluding, this excludes the cisterns.
Right, but I thought we had told them that we had wanted to have something in writing about the association before we accepted it.
No,
No?
he came in, he came in, and I believe he presented the association data to us,
Now,
right?
this is the one down on the Goodwin Mills Road.
Right, and we accepted the
We
road.
accepted the road.
We accepted the road without the cisterns. So this is the deed that
To accept the road.
Bruce Lewis is obligated to give us.
the deed, yeah.
Right, and
I'll make a motion to sign the quitclaim deed.
I'll second that.
I don't think we have to sign anything other than accept it, so.
Okay.
Will fire department be inspecting those
They
fire
will-
systems?
They're responsible for the cisterns. Okay? We are not. We don't inspect them. I guess the fire department could occasionally inspect them to see if.
We go out and train with them and use them, but
Right.
we don't have any ownership of the cisterns.
Oh, you use them like now and then to test them?
But we don't have any ownership of those,
All right.
or required.
If you use the water, you fill it back up when you're done, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a tank. Realistically, it's just
Just
a
a hole.
concrete tank in the ground with water in it, and the fire department has the right to use it, but when they're done, they fill it back up.
Got it. Thank you.
We just haven't got into the practice of any ownership of them because of the unknown
And it
costs
would appear
associated
to
with it.
me that, Bruce Lewis has already registered the deed in Elford.
It looks like it.
By the thing on the back here, so.
I'll make a motion to accept the deed, quitclaim deed from Lewis.
Okay,
Second it.
second it. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We'll need to make sure that this goes on to the snowplow contract.
Yeah.
In fact, he was here the night that Bruce Lewis was in and said that he would not have to adjust the price to take on this additional road,
Oh, that's nice.
because he's only getting 60.
That's the price per mile,
Right.
Right.
but the overall price will adjust.
Okay,
Carpenter Road. The last 3 public works directors and road commissioners have verbally said that they was gonna lay some pavement up there, and I see the Things Mills Road is laid out for something, but that Carpenter Road has not been touched in 3 or 4 years. And that is a plowed right of way in beyond the barn. And it's something that you can't plow in the condition that the road is in. And it's been on the plowing contract for the last 50-some years.
So take a peek at that, bud.
I just have to think about it.
Gets regraded every time they plow it.
Okay, old business item B, discuss vote on the alternate energy source ordinance. Okay, so there was a discussion the other night at the planning board meeting, and this came up. We had a public hearing on it, which is also known as the solar ordinances, but it's the alternate energy source ordinance. We deferred a vote to have a workshop with the planning board.
Yeah.
We had the workshop with the planning board, and nothing seems to have changed, okay? So my question is that if the ordinance isn't gonna change, then we need to vote to accept it, right? Because the clock is ticking here,
Well,
even though we have a,
the workshop that the selectmen had,
yeah,
we was thrown with 2 ordinances.
Yes.
And it was sent back to the planning board to come up with 1 ordinance, because one of the planning board members came in here with a whole different ordinance that some of the planning board members hadn't even seen. And there was some changes that needed to be done to the original ordinance that the planning board had come up with, but it was kind of a screwed up deal, because we had 2 ordinances thrown on the table and said, this is what we want, and neither one of them mated each other. So, we'll wait for the planning board to come up with 1 ordinance that,
so that was the result of that workshop.
Yes.
And I was not there, unfortunately.
it
but-
wasn't here, I run it, but we need something in between the 2 ordinances to come back to us.
So let's pin a note back to the planning board that there's evidently confusion over
Can I
what the ordinance
I'm sorry.
looked like.
It's
Yes,
it's an amendment to the zoning ordinance.
right.
Yes.
Right, to deal with.
And it's.
But if-
so
but
there's
if the-
only one, there's not 2 ordinances, it's a
No,
section.
but what Dwayne is saying is there were 2 different copies. So I want to make sure that,
Oh,
got
Angela
the-
gave me
what we,
the final from the planning board that I put in your packet.
is that the one that we had the public hearing on?
Yes.
Well, we have a planning board member here.
Okay, Lori?
Yeah, but there was a.
So what was the second ordinance? I don't know, I wasn't at that meeting.
I know you weren't there. There was only 1 ordinance passed, presented to the public, and submitted to the selectmen.
Okay,
A member of the planning board took it upon himself
True.
to rewrite it to how he felt it should have been passed,
okay.
Correct.
and emailed that to you for your workshop. None of the other planning board members knew about it or saw it.
Okay, so
There is only
if
1 ordinance.
if I would have been at that meeting, I would have said, well, that meeting, that copy of that ordinance doesn't exist, right? Because,
Well, I tried to make it very clear that the
Okay.
white one was the one passed by the planning board.
so,
The blue one
so
was-
we have an ordinance that went through the public hearing and approval process by the planning
board.
board, right? This erroneous other document, which has never been viewed by the planning board or public hearing by the planning board, I guess to me is
Sat right
kind
there
of,
that night.
is probably thrown out,
Yes, I was
right?
here.
Yeah, that's right.
So the real question is that, are there fundamental changes to the ordinance that we took to public hearing? So if that answer's no, then we need to vote on it, either accept it or reject it. So,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
this
and
originally
that's-
started with the moratorium, right?
right, well, that started the moratorium, right?
Right.
And that's what, because of the confusion and, you know, the request, you know, this seemed rushed by some of us there, then it was suggested as a moratorium by 3 people on the select board.
Yep,
And also the gentleman who had the that submitted his version of what he wanted, you know, how he thought it should be. Also agree with the moratorium, and that's how come the moratorium came out of that meeting, but that is the only thing that came out of the meeting.
well, when we asked the question the other night at the planning board meeting, no one seemed to offer up that there was another document that had to go back through the process.
EJ was supposed to, on the agenda, EJ was supposed to update us on the findings from the select board, and we hadn't had anything from the select board. The only reason I'm privy to any information is because I actually was here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask the question again.
My understanding was the moratorium was passed, and then we had time to
And at that-
revisit that ordinance,
And I think you'll find that at that meeting, that same meeting, we voted to send it back to the planning board because there was 2 different opinions on what we was looking at. So it was
So-
sent back to the planning board and was supposed to come back to us so that we, I believe, we still got to hold another public
It's
hearing.
supposed to
on
come
it.
back to us with.
If it has changed,
Yeah,
we will have to hold another public hearing.
right.
If it hasn't changed, the language hasn't changed, then we can accept it or reject it. But
Right.
I guess,
But we was waiting for the,
so the planning board is waiting for communications from us. All right, so let's write a nice little note to the planning board saying there was at the, July,
September 1st.
hang on.
no, that was your meeting. Yeah, that was your planning board meeting.
At the
but
July 22nd meeting, right? With the plan, was it
July 20th.
July 20th board meeting, there were 2 versions presented in the workshop
For your meeting.
for the Selectmen's workshop.
Yeah.
One that had been gone to public hearing, and one that had not gone to public hearing. So let's ask the planning board one more time which, because if they're gonna go to the revised one, then they're gonna have to go through that whole process again. You're gonna have to have a public hearing, etc.
Chair, Dennis? This is the one that was accepted by the planning board on 4/21/21, and this is the one that was presented to us at the meeting. It was present at the meeting.
Yeah.
The other one was there as well on blue paper. I ignored it.
Okay.
So when I looked at this in the workshop, I only worked with the white one.
Okay.
So knowing that I said the one I considered and worked with, that's the one we had a public hearing on. I don't see a problem with it. I think we should just accept it.
Well, I
I
guess.
don't have a problem with that, but we had sent it back to be advised.
We did,
by the
but
planning board.
doesn't seem like anything transpired, so
If,
at some point, we gotta get something.
Well,
I don't see the.
my suggestion is, if everybody's okay with what we had the public hearing on, right, then I think we can vote on it.
Yeah.
To accept it. If the planning board wants to change it after that, or whatever,
They can.
then that's all in their power to do that, right? And they're gonna have to go through their process again, and then come back to us with whatever changes, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to get, based on the planning board meeting the other night and this meeting, is let's move off the dime here, right?
I would just make a motion that we accept the alternative energy source ordinance, Article 4, Section 4.14 as written here before us, and amend the zoning ordinance with this.
Okay? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Discuss and vote on moving forward with the request to do away with the exemption of 40-acre lots for subdivisions. Again, I would refer you to the letter from Lee J. Feldman. That was discussed at the planning board meeting, and the suggestion is that if it's not broke, don't fix it, basically. So we had an individual request come in here to change it, and I guess when you dig down into that request, you'll find that the person created an LLC, so he then couldn't deed property to his children. So he's looking for us to exempt it to, I guess, resolve his problem, so.
I think it's gonna create more problems if we exempt it, so.
So
I would say leave things be.
I would entertain a motion to reject the request to do away with the exemption. Is that a negative motion?
Yeah, it could be.
So this is the gentleman who wanted to create a homestead,
Yes.
going through the process, and
But he put everything into an LLC,
so this is in an LLC right now?
from my understanding.
Is he here?
No.
No. If I make a positive motion to accept it, and we vote it down, it doesn't pass.
I guess you could do that.
So he wants to build a house on a middle road, which he's already built 2 up there, right?
Yep.
So he wants to build another one for him and his brother, is what he said here in the meeting. What holds him back from doing that?
Well, he's got to go through a subdivision.
Subdivision, which is a very
I was
minor.
told right by our code enforcement
Yes.
office
Yes.
that as long as it's for family, you do not have to go
If it's-
through.
If it's,
Anything.
if it's a family,
5 years, so. the
he's
5
put the
year-
property into an LLC. That's not a family.
Right, well, the LLC would be his family, right?
Not if it's a
in
limited
the
liability
company name.
corporation.
Right, but he's the one that owns the property?
Well,
It's a very fine line, but no, he cannot do it without creating a subdivision within 5 years. He's a year and a half away, and he
Right.
wants to do it now.
Yeah.
And it's our problem because he's created that.
so let me reject the first motion because I think it's a negative motion, so we need to have a positive motion, so. Dwayne, if you want to move that we accept
I'm trying to
doing
find-
away with the exception, or the exemption, and I'll need to have a second, and then if you don't want it, you vote no, if you want it, you vote yes. Right?
If you don't want it, you vote yes.
No.
It's gotta be a negative vote.
Would this be the equivalent of a person presenting to us for a contractual
Well,
zone?
he could come back and say, I want contract zoning. He's gonna have to give the municipality something, and
He's already got a survey plan, so all he's gotta do is go through the subdivision, which is a minor subdivision, and he's all done, and it's recorded. Takes care of all of the problems. I'll make a motion to change, exempt the 40-acre lot of subdivision ordinance. Make sense?
so somebody wanna second that? You gotta vote, I mean.
I'll second it to bring it into a vote.
All right. So it's been moved and seconded to accept, do away with the exemption of 40 acres, right? So, here's my put is that, let's not, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So my intent is to vote no.
And mine too.
So, is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
The discussion that I have is, where in here does it say LLC?
Well, it won't, because he's not talking about.
But it should, right?
It should, but the property is in a limited liability
This
corporation.
is the fellow that was in here.
Right.
Early summer.
I just want to be 100% clear before I make my decision.
I would support Dana in that if it doesn't say LLC here, and this is for family, I think that's something that we've probably considered doing for a lot of people.
Well, if it's not in an LLC, he doesn't need
it.
the exemption.
He's got a partner involved here. It's in the company name.
No, he
So
even
code could
said
just
that
approve
right
it?
here. He does not have a partner involved in it, Dwayne.
Well, it's in
His
the
partner,
company.
he bought it from his partner.
Okay, but he put it into the LLC then.
Where does it
Yeah.
say LLC? When I get that proven to me, I'll make a decision on that.
So let's find out who owns the property,
Yeah, I mean,
okay?
and
We'll
again,
bring-
this has
we'll
been
bring it-
going on for forever.
We'll bring it back next meeting.
Do you have a map and lot, or I can go get it for you right now?
No,
It's tax map 6, lot 32.
Do you want me to get it from you?
no,
Okay.
we'll bring it back next meeting.
Realistically, if you don't vote on it,
Well,
Do the motion.
we should,
I thought you already did vote. You
no,
said
we didn't
No.
vote, no. We can
we
have
got a motion
a,
on the table, but
Okay.
so, motion to table would circumvent that, right?
if you table it, you don't ever bring it back on the table.
Well, you can vote to bring it back on the table.
No, not if you table it. You can postpone it, but you can't table it. When you table
So
something,
do I
it
have a
never comes
motion to
back.
postpone until the next meeting?
I'll make a motion to postpone it to the next meeting.
Have a second?
Second that.
All those in favor? Okay. All right, let's talk solar.
Again.
Discuss the vote to enter into the Regional Solar Coalition that is, was explained tonight by Spencer Eden.
I would make a motion that we do not enter into that.
Okay.
And my reasoning is because, like you said, if we, the coalition or whatever they got going on, the collaboration they have, if we buy, whatever you want to call it, points or whatever he called them, and we don't need them, and don't use them, what happens to them?
You lose them.
Exactly. So we could potentially be paying a lot more money than we're paying right now
If,
at
if,
the end of a year's time.
right,
you know.
if you work on reducing energy consumption, right? And you reduced energy consumption by more than 15%, because what he's projecting is we're only asking you to commit 85% of your total consumption, right? To give you a buffer. But if we reduced energy consumption by more than 15%, we are gonna buy credits and not get the energy.
Right, that's what I'm getting. If we end up buying them and we don't use it,
But if,
we don't get it.
if we don't change them streetlights and town garage and this building completely to
We
solar,
got an arm going up in the back.
Streetlights.
yeah.
That was mentioned a couple of weeks ago, so I worked diligently trying to go forward with that, and I do have some information at the last hour even of today. Of course, I took a tree or two, so I didn't make a copy for everybody. But the long and the short, there's a program out there now, we can jump on board. It won't cost us anything to change the lights. CMP will do the changing of the lights. And it's gonna save the town $6,936 a year in savings for doing that. However, there's another rule. We could buy and change all the lights ourselves, have our own contract, have $100,000 liability and all this other stuff that goes with it if we wanted to go do it by ourselves, or just stick with leasing them through Central Main Power and just save almost $7,000 a year. And they change the lights, they're still responsible for the liability, everything.
Do we buy the bulbs?
They do everything. It's all on them.
All we do is pay a monthly fee for it.
Right.
Correct.
Which
And
we
we'll
do
save
today.
$7,000 a year.
Same.
We'll save $7,000 a year in the utility bill,
Right.
Estimated cost for the kilowatts, yes.
but what's gonna be the cost to lease the new lights? They gotta be dissipating that somehow.
The,
So if we're
that's
gonna,
all part of the figure of the
It's
cost.
a fixed cost.
Correct.
it's a fixed cost, but is the fixed cost gonna go up after they put the
No.
LEDs in?
No,
No,
that's already
because
figured in. We're gonna save the $6,900.
They're gonna, it's gonna still be a fixed cost, right?
They'll hire somebody to do it for them.
Only what they're doing is they're reducing the fixed cost by, well, ultimately it saves $7,000 a year, right?
Right, so it's going up a little bit per kilowatt, but it's coming down because
Yeah,
it's saving
so-
on the labor.
Right, so if we're paying $100 a street light now, which I don't know what it is, but they're gonna reduce it to 50 to give us the savings.
Plus, they also want to know that we still receive tax revenue from CMPs. I mean, it's, all that stuff will go away, but it's huge responsibility if we took it all on and try to take care of and maintain it.
Right.
Well, we need a boom truck.
So if you, right, well, you look at the cost of paying just at Lions Club, just the lights. Try to get that done, Matt, try to do, I don't know, 40 something or whatever it is, so.
We don't need a boom truck.
So
Well, no, we change the lights.
if we was to jump on board with that,
Yes,
what does it take to get on board with it, I guess, what I should have said.
just a couple of little signatures for an agreement, and I can continue on working with that if you
So
think
we
you want to go with that.
we
but-
would have to have a board vote.
Right, yep.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
And we would be in line as it progresses, because there are several other towns. She said second quarter of 2022 before they would probably even get to changing up the lights.
So do we have to add it to the agenda, right?
add it to the next agenda.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out as information because you're
Right,
talking
and
about.
that way you can put his summary into the packet, so
Okay.
everybody knows what it is.
Yeah, sure.
And it would help if we could take what's it costing us now per light, what's the lease now versus what's the monthly charge then. I know it's a monthly charge, right? So, any further discussion on this solar coalition? Or we're just gonna let it die a natural death?
Well, there's a motion on the floor, so.
No, that's not a motion.
I made a motion
Oh.
on that.
But it was a negative motion, so
Yeah.
I didn't accept it. And there was no second. So, I mean, you understand, and I'm a little antsy about it. I don't know what Dwayne and,
I'm right on the fence, but I think it's something that we've got to consider if we're gonna try to hit pennies here. And I don't wanna buy more than we need, but, I think it's something that we're gonna have to jump on the bandwagon eventually.
And he did say you have another opportunity down the road.
yeah, and that's not to say that
But it's gonna be more money.
these guys aren't gonna have, well, it could be more money.
Right, he also said that.
Yeah. Mike?
I don't know, I'm a little bit bothered by the fact that if I go on the website for the Southern Maine Solar Collaboration, we're already listed as a member,
Well, that's.
the 6 communities.
We are,
That's 'cause that's-
We're a member of
But we haven't signed, but this is specific to that solar deal.
Right.
We're already on there as a town that's doing this. We're one of the 6.
They'll have to take it off.
Well, I mean, it's, yeah.
But that was the, I mean, the
Well, I
young
know.
lady from Southern Maine that came and presented to us, that's what she presented was, okay, this is being done for, my only
I'm not into it.
antsiness is that all of this is predicated on the federal government or the state government giving those credits,
Right.
okay? The money's not magically gonna be reduced. So you're gonna get, somebody is getting reimbursed from the state or the federal government.
Yeah, pay for it one way or another. Real.
So if you look at it that way, you can say, yeah, we'll take our share, and you vote to join it, or you say,
The other thing that I don't trust is the local power companies' accounting policies and procedures and systems. I don't have a lot of faith in that right now.
so,
Can we postpone it until we get a little more information from Pete?
yeah, we can do that. He said within the next 4 to 6 weeks, they're gonna finalize the agreement.
Okay. So you did a motion to postpone it, or?
Well, we'll just bring it back at the next meeting. That's all.
Okay.
So bring back next meeting?
Yep. And
I
we'll
like the
follow up
sound.
with,
I like the sound of your idea.
yeah.
I mean, to me, that makes sense, right? That's
All right. Would you like me to forward you all the stuff with an email? You can review it if you wish.
nah.
All right,
That's good.
so let's discuss a vote to approve the minutes of September 7th regular meeting.
So moved. Seconded.
All those in favor? Opposed? Week's action list, you got everything you
You
need.
seconded that, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Agenda items, we're gonna bring back the exemption, we're gonna bring back the solar coalition. Collaborate, yeah, whatever they call it.
And we're adding the LED light.
LED lights will be on the new business. Anything else? We've got 2 public hearings,
Yep.
so we
public
won't
hearings.
keep, and we'll have to have votes for those 2 public hearings, right? Down in the new business, vote to approve or reject or whatever. Vote, discuss and vote. Anything else? Yes, Peter?
I'll try to be quick. I know you guys had the friendship committee put together, and nobody showed up tonight. I'm kind of sad about that. I was hoping Chevette would talk about it, but we met Thursday night and getting them all started, trying to get a bigger picture to do a presentation, but right off first thing, they had a question about taking down some of the hazard big pine trees down here and cleaning up some of the other dead trees. Does anybody have any heartburn on?
One of the discussions that we had earlier this evening, which, whatever, was there is a engineered drawing for Friendship Park.
Anywhere, do you know where that is?
It's gotta be in this town hall somewhere. But it was done by Sebago Techniques.
Isn't that over in rec?
Could be. So
It was done
take
in
a-
about 1990.
Take a peek at that, because there was supposed to be another baseball field, and I think,
Excellent.
so, but anyway, you might be able to, at least, that's a talking point anyway, right?
Okay. But as far as pine trees, anybody have any trees? I mean, there are some few others.
It's a safety issue, they should be taken down.
Right.
Also, some major danger, of bull pines down there that, I don't know, I'd be afraid to have my kids around, but.
Yep.
Is that gonna have to come out of the 17 grand that we have set aside for the
We're
parks?
working, again, we're working, they're working very hard on trying to get donations done, even if, no, that's not the plan to take it out of 17.
Okay, because I think it'd be nice going into the spring to have that money,
So, yeah.
some available for Friendship
I've already had
Park.
some feedback, or I'll call it feedback, on why aren't we spending some of that money now? Because I don't want to spend money that's spending and then dig it all up and do things together, again.
Yeah.
So we have, like the library wants to do a walking path, reading something. there.
Story, yeah.
Friendship Park has their thing. I'm dealing with Little League, trying to deal with the president there. You gotta collaborate all these things together and make it fit. Not, we'll do a bunch of money here and then rip it all up to do this. I don't wanna do that, so.
We could plan over the winter.
That's what I'd like to do. I'm
Yeah.
just telling you, I'm already having some
I
feedback that, why are we spending money out there and fixing that right now?
I think your
That's
pushback
why-
should be, we got a grander plan for this place, and we need to hold the money until we figure out what the plan's gonna look like.
Yes, as long as I got your support on that, that's what I'd like to do.
Absolutely.
And are they funneling the
It's one
funds?
less winter it's gotta suffer through.
Are they funneling those funds through the treasurer here to deposit?
So that I don't know. I would ask Dave Chevette, because he's on that committee.
Oh, I was thinking it was you. Okay, you're right. You're right.
They were in here and they did say that they were gonna be bringing the money in, and Julie has set up an account for
Oh,
the
great.
donation.
Okay.
Right, Julie?
Set up an account, but that's all I have been informed about it.
Okay.
Would anybody like to do a little quick sidewalk down here and have a tree picking contest, or just do what things we need to do? I'll mark them. How about I mark them and then?
What if they're unsafe, you just cut them?
If it's one big widowmaker.
Right. If they're unsafe, they're unsafe.
Yep, I'll flag them, and then for the next few days, if you guys want to just peek a poke at them, that'll be super.
Okay. When they do that, we'll make a point of swinging in there if we're concerned with
I
what
don't
we're
want to strip
thinking
it,
of.
obviously, because I want the shade shelter, but
Yeah.
there are some bad bull lines.
Okay?
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
My suggestion would be to plan a couple, if you're gonna take a couple out.
No, that's part of, that is part of the whole thing, yeah, yeah.
You know, something that's gonna have some shade.
More so like towards the roadside, because Friendship Park coming from 202, you don't see it till you're on it. So if we can eliminate some of that, plant some lower vegetation and stuff, yes. Yep.
Great.
Okay?
Thank you.
Anything else? Sensing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Seconded.
All in favor?